Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating culinary history. We're going to look at how a simple, everyday trick used to save curd from spoiling in the brutal summer heat actually evolved into one of India's absolutely most beloved traditional desserts. It's a pretty amazing transformation.
So picture this. It's the peak of a scorching summer day. Families are setting their homemade curd daily, right? But there's a huge problem. Because of that intense heat, the fresh curd is turning sour and spoiling almost immediately. This left our ancestors staring at their pots of souring curd, asking a very practical question. What do we do now? I mean, they literally couldn't afford to just throw the food away, so they had to figure out a way to save it.
And here is the genius part. To stop that curd from totally going bad, they came up with a really simple but highly effective solution. They took that souring curd, tied it up tightly in a clean cotton cloth, and just hung it up. That's it. They let gravity do all the heavy lifting. By hanging it, every single drop of water slowly drained out, which essentially hit the pause button on the fermentation process.
Now what's left behind inside that cloth is where the real magic happens. After all the water drains out, you get this incredibly thick, dense, completely waterless curd. Traditionally, this is called chakka. And this chakka, it's the absolute foundation. It's the essential base that gives the final dessert that incredibly rich, thick texture it's so famous for today.
Okay, so we have our base, but how do we turn plain, dense curd into a mouth-watering dessert? Well, they brought it to life by adding a very specific trio of ingredients. First, sugar, to perfectly balance out any leftover tartness. Second, a dash of cardamom for that beautiful aromatic fragrance. And finally, saffron. Saffron is a real game changer here. It doesn't just add a luxurious flavor, but it literally dyes the whole dessert this stunning, rich golden yellow hue.
Having the right ingredients is one thing, but the real art is all in the technique. It's a super straightforward three-step process, but absolutely crucial. Step 1, you thoroughly mix those 3 ingredients into the chakka. Step 2, you whisk it, and I mean vigorously whisk it, until it's perfectly smooth. And step 3, you let it chill in a cold place. That cooling period is essential because it lets the sugar completely dissolve and allows those gorgeous spices to really release their flavors. That vigorous whisking we just talked about, it creates this magical textural transformation. You literally look at it and think, wow, look how creamy it became. All that energetic whipping incorporates air, taking this heavy, dense shadbaka and transforming it into something unimaginably smooth, light, and creamy. It holds its shape perfectly on a spoon, but the second it hits your tongue, it just melts.
Then, as it rests in the cool air, the mixture thickens up even more. The flavors meld together, finalizing its journey into the rich, perfectly structured masterpiece we know as traditional Srikhand. Just think about that for a second. A process that was literally invented just to save everyday curd from the brutal summer heat has evolved into this premium, luxurious dessert served at festivals and weddings. Mind-blowing, right? But wait, there is a totally delicious plot twist here. Classic Srikhand is absolutely fantastic on its own, for sure, but if you take that whipped chakka and fold in some fresh, ripe mango pulp, you've just beautifully transformed that classic dish into another massive crowd favorite called Amrakhand. It's such a simple yet brilliant variation of the original recipe. So, as we wrap up this marvelous little story, from hanging sour curd in a cloth to enjoying a bowl of golden Amrakhand, it really shows how some of our absolute best dishes were born purely out of necessity and human ingenuity. I want to leave you with this. What other ingenious historical food hacks do you think are just waiting for us to discover? Think about the traditional foods in your own culture. What secrets are hiding in those recipes? Thanks so much for joining us on This Explainer. Keep exploring and keep uncovering the history on your plate.